Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Fictional Character Motivation, where I watch movies, I glean some of the information, something that can help us for our daily life. I'm your host, Quan, and today the movie we're going to be talking about is the movie Soul on Living. And just to rep some Soul, I got this little boombox shirt here, way back in the day. Still can fit in it. Always an awesome thing. You can still fit in some of your old clothes. But yeah, let's get right into it. Soul came out late last year, and the Google overview of the movie is: ever wonder where your passion, where your dreams, and where your interests come from? What is it that makes you you? In 2020, Pixar Studios takes you on a journey from the streets of New York City to the cosmic realms to discover the answers to life's most important questions. That's what Google says. But if you've watched this movie, you won't regret it, guaranteed. I think it was great. It was comedic and deep, something that could be needed around this time actually to remind us to enjoy life a little bit more. So, I'm going to try my best to not let loose big spoilers. But if you're afraid that even just a little bit that I glean might be a spoiler, please go watch the movie first and then come back to me. Don't worry, I'll be here. I'm probably not going to go anywhere for a while. But with that being said, and I'm messing with my hair again. So, how does soul remind us to actually live? I have a couple of reasons. First off, is in one of the scenes, there are what they call these personality badges that every soul has to fill out with a mentor, or sometimes with a mentor. Other times, they're pretty much categorized to go like, hey, you go in for this trait and you go over here for this trait just to see how things go. What, and with that, we find out what interests you. And this is the question for the audience now. What interests you? What calms you? What uplifts you? What move what movements interest you? What hypes you up? And what energizes you? What also brings you down? Like like I'm not just talking about, passions, like all the well, I love teaching or I love my job, I love this and that. No, go for every single detail. From the food you like to eat to the movies you like to watch that make you feel a little bit better, the shows you like to watch that make you feel a little bit better, the music that you listen to the small things. What motivates you? What energizes you? What calms you? What uplifts you? What interests you? Dig deep. What connects you to this world are mostly those things, believe it or not. Every little thing is a clue, a trait, something that is a part of you. Keep that in mind. That even the most minuscule thing that you may not think on, that it actually is one of those things that could just revive you back to your life, whether it's just makes you happy, makes you joyful, makes you energetic, or just calms you down to where you feel peaceful. Second thing is do those things, but don't forget about what is good for you, and what else you can do. Don't forget people, what they like, what they do. what they're curious about. Talk, interact, be friends, share, be friendly. Try to be as positive as you can. Also, don't forget to try new things. That is a spice of life, of course, or so I've heard. And you sometimes have to sprinkle that everywhere just to add a little razzle dazzle. But going to one of the first sentences of do those things, but don't forget what is good for you. For instance, to exercise is good for you. Too much exercise, depending on where your training level is, because I know there's a theory. There's actually a theory. There's practitioners that people can exercise every day. Some people can go the wave, high and lows, go hard one day and go light the next day. Some people can go streamlined, where it's just one stream state right there. And other people can actually go hard. First, find out what kind of person you are, or find out where your training level is, because I link this a lot with how much exercise you've been doing before you jump into it. And then give it a shot. But remember that rest counts. You already know that pretty much sometimes too little rest hurts you just as much as too much rest. You have to find your happy medium. And that's pretty much what I'm talking about here, is that do those things that you love, that energize you, that do this stuff, but find your happy medium. If that thing is healthy enough and you can do it every day, do it every day. But I wouldn't advise it every day, such as, yeah, but for certain things, I wouldn't advise it every day, such as me with cake. I love birthday cake. My body, however, does not sometimes, so I have to eat it in good moderation. Anyway, and the third thing, something important, is don't get caught up in what others think of you or the bad or low tides of life. Reason that I bring this up is there is a scene in the movie as how you figure out how lost souls are created, how they're coming to being, which I think when you look at that scene shines a light on mental health issues and struggles that we all feel. And the signs that I saw when a soul is lost is comes down to three things. You forget the things that you're living for. You're consumed by anxiety, negativity, what others think, what to say to them, all that stuff, what they've said about you. Or the only good one here, which technically is not like you're a lost soul, but there's a small link. As you already know, there's duality, there's the good side and bad side. You're deeply in your passion. You're in what they love to do. Because there's a scene to where you see one of the main characters. He's in his groove and he's just lost. He feels the flow. He's just there. He's just feeling the passion. And another character mentions that to go from the spiritual world, to go from bliss to lose yourself, also can be just as easy as either becoming a lost soul, aka not having a reason of being, not knowing what to live for, or being consumed by anxiety, depression, fear, what others think, or what you think others are saying about you, or to where you're in such good flow, to when you're in your passion, you're feeling it, and it energizes you, it calms you, it enlightens you. You're at that point to where you're just at an awesome spot, and that spot can take you far. But that's the good side of the coin. So, as I mentioned, the last one is the most positive one. And connects you to your bliss, your flow, if done correctly, plus much more. But the bottom line is if you're feeling the first two, the remedy for that is to reconnect with the world that is here, or reconnect with the world that is here in the outer world, reconnect with what you really like to do, because remember that in life sometimes we lose some things that we like, love to do, things that energize us, because life happens. Life is the great ocean, the great sea of sometimes unpredictability. And even though when we say it's not unpredictable, you may go 6 months and wondering, I really like to write, but I haven't really written anything in a while. Or I really like to read a book, but I haven't really read a book in a while. Those things count. And you want to keep mind of that. Always, always do this. And if you're any of my listeners are pretty much the fan of the law of attraction, law of vibration tribe, I'm also pretty light in that group, and this goes without saying that most of this talk also kind of attributes to that. But it just attributes to you having a good mood, you being in a constant good feeling all the time, or at least close to all the time, or something that you find purpose, meaning in most of the time. So keep in mind, out of those things, being the best you can be and being aware of your environment, you will have all the things that can get you to stay, to get through and enjoy life. Please keep that in mind, because as one of the sayings go, pretty much all work and no play makes John or whoever a dull boy. Well, it doesn't just do that. It also, makes you wonder why you were here and stuff. Unless you are doing something that you love. But even then, there is more to life than just your job. You have to experience things. You want to eat things. You want to go places. Do those things. And I know amid this, we're still pretty much on the knife's edge of this pandemic. Please let it be known that life still move on. And like I carry on before, as long as you have the necessary safety protocols, as long as you're careful, as long as you know what to do and what not to do, as long as you don't have to worry too much or don't be scared too much, if you can go do things, please go do things. But remember, be considerate of not only your well-being, but others. And with that being said, I hope all this landed for somebody, even if it's one small thing. Please let me know in either podcast or the YouTube. Like, share, follow, subscribe, give me a comment, donate, anything that lets me know that you liked what I put out. Please let me know, because I'm doing this mostly for y'all. I'm doing it for that one or two people that listen. Because it's you that I want to change. If you're listening to this, if you need help, if you need inspiration, I'm here to help you glean for that inspiration. I'm pretty much a guy who may be speaking in the void, but know that as I speak in the void, I'm casting positivity in the void, so that when it comes back, it'll come back tenfold positivity. Or at the very most, when I cast out my positivity, I'm pretty much being a ripple in the pond that hits other rocks, that hits other ripples, that hits other oceans, islands. And then soon, eventually, when all that goodness is shared and it lifts everybody up, it comes back to me. Hope everyone's doing awesome. Hope you have an awesome day. And as always, deuces.